All right, sorry folks, and we're back. So again, we're talking about section 5.6. I'm sorry, I forgot to start the recording. So yeah, all right. Section 5.6 is slope-intercept form. Again, like I said before, section 5.6 is something that you guys definitely remember out of middle school. It's that y equals mx plus b thing. So we'll jump right in. Now we talked about graphing. Now we will find that graphing is very easy using the slope and the intercept. So the first thing that we do is we find where the location where it crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. So it crosses the y-axis at -3. So you'll see here, we plot our point at -3. Now, once we plot our point at -3, then we use our slope to find additional points. Now, people, make sure you're plotting as many points as you need to see the pattern. My suggestion is to fill the graph with coordinates, and then you can just connect the dots. What do I mean by that? Well, my slope, my rise over my run is 2 over 5. So I rise 2 and run 5 from this location. From our coordinate at -3, I rise 2 up to right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up, and then I can keep going up to over 5. Now, I went up and right because this was positive, right? I went up and right because this was positive, both positive. Now, could I also go down? Yes. Yes. Which way would I have to go then? Down, left, right? Down to left 5, down to left 5. Fill the graph with coordinates. When you're making your graphs, guys, everybody hear me on this. When you're making your graphs, I saw way too many people doing this and plotting points based off of a quadrant 1. No, stop doing that, folks. Stop doing that. When you make a graph on your homework, you do this. Okay, you make a full 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrant graph, and you plot accordingly. I need to see at least 3 points on your graph. Okay? I need to see where the y-intercept is, and I want to see a point to the right and to the left. Okay, when you plot it.
You want arrows on
it? Yes, please. Now, when we go to graph, again, and I did take off points for that on the test. If you don't put arrows on the end of your graph, I will be taking off points. Okay. Okay, let's do that again. Y-intercept is 1, slope is -2/3. So now I go y-intercept of 1 is my point right here. Again, do not put it on the x-axis, put it on the y-axis. And then my slope is -2/3. Now, when it's -2/3, the rise over the run, I still rise 2, run 3. But in this case, it's a negative sloping line. Remember, negative sloping lines go down and to the right. Down to right 3, down to right 3, down to right 3. I could also go up to left 3, up to left 3, up to left 3. Notice that that gives us the exact same line. Fill the graph with coordinates. Questions about that? Okay, let's do another one here. Okay, my y-intercept is -3, so I go down 3 units on my y-axis, and there's the point that I start from. Remember, you're always starting from your y-intercept, and then from your y-intercept, then you create more coordinates. So my slope, my rise over my run is just 2. What can I put underneath 2? A 1. So rise 2, run 1. Positive sloping line. I could go down 2, but then I would have to go left 1. Negative, negative turns positive. And there's my line. Again, I've got my y-intercept at -3. My slope is 2. Rise 2, run 1. And it stays consistent throughout, no matter where I go on that line. Connect your dots. If you don't connect your dots, I'll take off points. If you don't put arrows on the end, I'll take off points. Why don't you do D on your own real quick? The y-intercept is 2 and the slope is -3. Now, once you've graphed your line, double check, is it a negative sloping line? Because if it's not, then you did it the wrong angle. You should have gone down and to the right instead of up and to the right. The y-intercept is 2, so there's my dot. Make sure you put your y-intercept at +2, and then the rise over the run is -3/1. So that means it's rise 3, left 1, up 3, left 1, down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. Okay. Okay, check it. It should go down and to the right and not up and to the right. Down and to the right. Questions about that? Okay, so that's how to graph. I think we would all agree that it's not very difficult to graph when you are given the slope and the intercept. Okay, I hope we would all agree with that. So what we're going to do now is talk about, okay, what if we're given an equation that's in slope-intercept form? That's very easy to identify the slope and the intercept. Now we have what's called slope-intercept form of a linear equation. Y equals mx plus b. We all remember this, right? Y equals mx plus b. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Okay, m is the slope, b is the y-intercept. M is the slope, b is the y-intercept. Mx plus b. The m has to come first. The m is the number that's in front of x. The b is the added or subtracted out on the right. So my question now is, write the equation that describes the line in slope-intercept form when the slope is 1/4 and the y-intercept is 4. Slope is 1/4 and the y-intercept is 4. Okay, well, if the slope is 1/4, that means my m value is 1/4. And if the y-intercept is 4, then my b value is 0,4, right? My b value is 4. That means that I can take those two things and just input them right into my equation. Y is equal to mx plus b. 1/4 x plus 4. Questions about that? Okay. My slope is -9 and my y-intercept is -5/4. Guys, just because you see a fraction does not mean that that fraction is the slope. If you see a fraction, just, that does not necessarily mean it's a slope. Just take it for what it's worth. The slope is -9, the y-intercept is -5/4. That means my m value is -9, my b value is -5/4. This is crossing the y-axis at -1.25, -1.25. Okay, so that means my equation is y is equal to -9x. And now, instead of saying plus a -5/4, let's just say minus 5/4. Okay, you do the last one then. You do C. Okay, what's my equation? Somebody tell me. Carson?
Y equals 3x plus 1.
Good. Y equals 3x plus 1/2. Good. My m is 3. My b value is 1/2. So I think we can now see that if we're given the information, it's very easy to write the equation. You'll notice here in the second half of chapter 5, we're going to be focused on creating the equation, finding all sorts of ways to create the equation. This is one of the ways to create the equation. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to write the equation in slope-intercept form, and then we're going to graph. We're going to kind of put those two things that we just did together. Okay. Now, is this first one already in slope-intercept form? How do you know? Good. It's in that y equals mx plus b form. I have y alone on the left side. I see just a number times x right after the equal sign, and then we have our b value at the end. We see it right, plain as day right here. Y is equal to mx plus b. Okay, so my m value is 3. What's my b value? -1. Be careful with that. Don't just say 1. It's -1, right? Be careful with that. If it's a minus, the y-intercept is actually a negative. So now we kind of put together our first slide, and now this, we graph by taking the y-intercept is -1, and my rise over my run is 3. So I go rise 3, right 1, rise 3, right 1, rise 3, right 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1, down 3, left 1. And now I connect my dots accordingly. Questions about that? All right. What form, actually this isn't even in standard form. I was going to ask if this was in standard form, this next one. Is that truly in standard form? No, X and Y are flip-flop, isn't it? But what I can do here is solve it so that it is in slope-intercept form. You know, I don't really care about standard form right now. I want it in slope-intercept form. I want Y completely alone. So my friends, what's the first step to get Y completely alone? What do I do first? Carson? Good. Subtract 3x. Good. Subtract 3x. Don't try dividing by 2. You have to subtract 3x. You have to get x over to the other side first. Now, people, on your next step, the x should come first, because this is going to be mx plus b, right? I bring down my 2y. The x should come first, -3x, and then I should say plus 6. Okay? Because it's got to go mx plus b. You got to have the x first, right after the equal sign. Now, how do I get y completely alone at this point? Go ahead, Carson. Divide by 2. Now, everybody gets divided by 2. Everybody gets divided by 2. Don't just divide the number on the far right side. Don't just divide the x. Every single piece gets divided by 2. I would hesitate. Don't just draw a line and write divided by 2. Divide each piece by 2. Because if you just draw the big line, you'll forget. You'll forget to divide one of the pieces. Y is equal to -3 over 2x plus 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay. So somebody tell me, what's my slope? What's my slope? Baker?
-3.
-3 over 2?
Yeah.
And then what's my b value?
3.
So now I go to my graph and I plot my y-intercept at 3. And now I graph -3/2 slope. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. Down 3, right 2. Up 3, left 2. Up 3, left 2. Whoa, that's a curvy line.
But we have to do
Still a curvy line. What's that?
we have to do something after 3.
I would do at least one to the left and one to the right of your y-intercept. You don't, I like to fill the graph, but I guess that's kind of whatever. You don't need that much. Questions about that? But definitely go back in and say like, okay, is this actually a negative sloping line? Did I graph that correctly? Because I'll tell you what, most commonly missed points on the test are negative to positive slopes. Okay, the incorrect negative or positive slope. Okay, let's keep it going. What type of equation is this? Dude? Oh, you gotta go to the clinic?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back. Why don't you go ahead and plot this one, see if you can figure it out. How do we even know? Okay, so what's my y-intercept here? 0. Good, 0. My slope is pretty easy to pick out. What does it mean when my y-intercept is 0? It's at the origin. What do I call this thing? Well, yeah, that's the middle. But what do I call this original equation? This in here. What do I call that? Got a unique name. Oh, come on. It's a direct variation. Good. It's a direct variation. Y equals kx, right? And we all knew y equals kx ran through the origin. So now I go up 2 over 3. Rise 2, run 3. I could also go down 2, left 3. And then here's my line. I always miss the points in the middle. You guys notice that? Like I always go above the points in the middle. I don't know why I do that. I hit the points in the end. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Why don't you guys practice solving this one for y? Because obviously it's not. Solve this for y. Okay, what's the first? Did you have a question, Carson? I did. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so what's the first step to get y completely alone? What's the first step? Mackenzie? Good. I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides, which leaves me with a 2y is equal to negative 6x plus 10. Do you notice how I wrote that? mx plus b. Don't say 10 minus 6x. Don't do that. And now I divide by 2. And everybody gets divided by 2. Not just the 6, not just the 10, everybody. So y is equal to negative 3x plus 5. How'd we do? We did all right? So now my slope is negative 3, and my b is 5. So that means I go up 5, plot my point, and I go down 3, right 1. I go up 3, left 1. See, I tried to focus on the middle there, and I missed both ends. Questions about that? Again, double check. Is your slope the correct way? Right? Is it negative or positive? Then go accordingly. Should this go down to the right? Yeah. Yes?
Wouldn't it go over 5?
No, the b value is 5. The y-intercept is 5. The b value has nothing to do with the slope. The reason why I'm going over 1 is because this is -3 over 1. Does that make sense? Okay. Questions about that? All right. Let's take our last one for these types of problems here. This. Okay. What type of line is a y equals? What type of line is a y equals? Well, do you see an x?
No.
No. So what I could really write is, what's the coefficient if you don't see it? 0. 1x would make it stay there, right? But 0x would actually make that cancel. So then what's my slope, people? Oh, what type of line has a 0 slope?
0 pond.
Don't say undefined. So it goes through y-intercept of -4, and then it's a horizontal line because the slope is 0. So what I'm saying is, any y equals is just a horizontal line at that point. We'll find x equals is a vertical line at that point. All right, last problem here, word problem. A closet organizer charges a $100 initial consultation fee plus $30 per hour. Yes, that is an actual job. A closet organizer. You can go in and organize people's closets.
What?
Yeah, that's actually there's actually a Netflix series about. My wife is like, she loves. They go in and they like just organize your stuff. What's it called?
Home edit.
Home edit. That's right. Home edit. Like you just they go in and they organize your stuff. My wife is as well. We haven't gotten there yet. Yes.
Why couldn't you just do it yourself for free? Or do you not want to put in the effort?
Yeah.
Why not just make somebody else do it?
I don't know. Okay, so that's like life right there. That is life in a nutshell. Okay, we have a $30 consultation fee, or sorry, $100 consultation fee, and then $30 per hour. What's the equation that would match that? What's the equation that would match that? Rosalie?
Y equals 30x plus 100.
Good. Y equals 30x plus 100. Now, we have to remember that we are creating an equation that will match a situation. However, does any value of x really work here? No, we only want positive numbers. That's why you don't see an arrow on the end of your graph. Okay, that's why you don't see an arrow on the end of your graph on the left side, because it should not go into positives. Or sorry, should not go into negatives. It should only stay positive. Now, question B asks, identify the slope and the y-intercept and describe their meanings. Okay, what's the slope of this? Give me the numeric value. What is the slope?
30.
30. And then what's the b value? 100. Okay, let's describe their meanings in context of the problem. What does the 30 represent? What does the 30 represent?
The constant rate goes up.
Good. Rate of what, though? In terms of the problem?
My cost.
Rate of the cost. Good. So it's $30 per hour. And what does the 100 represent? The base price? Okay, I like that. I like to call it the initial charge. Oops. Or if you want to call it the starting value. Right? You're going to find that every time we talk about a y-intercept, it's always the initial amount, starting value, where it crosses the y-axis. Every time we talk about slope, that's the amount of change, constant change. Okay. And then our last question here says, find the cost if the organizer works 12 hours. What do I do? What do I do, Daryl? Good. What do I get? Oh, sorry, I thought you already had it. Rosalie, help me out. 460. Is that right? Y is equal to 30x.
Can I answer it?
No.
There's 11. There's 11.
Hi, Mrs. Kalala. Yeah. Okay, bye. Okay, got it. Yep, bye. Liam, main office. No, you should be back. So we say
What to do now, Liam?
30 times, right at the bottom of the steps. Big step. 30 times 12 plus 100 is 460. Yeah, $460. Questions about that? Yes.
Wouldn't we have to write like words to it that like it would cost?
Sure. Yeah. Honestly, though, it's just asking
Okay.
for the amount, so I'd be okay with
So
that.
if we didn't write words, we would just do it.
All right. Everybody say bye to the folks at home.
Bye.
Bye.